I'll tell you why in a minute. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. Obviously, it'll be the NBA Finals matchup. Obviously, there's some stuff to get into as it pertains to that. There's some stuff involving KD. There's some stuff involving Boogie Cousins. The list goes on and on. But unfortunately for me, I am forced to address yet the latest story about the dysfunctional franchise known as the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not happy about it one bit. I got better things to do with my damn time. Better things to do. I'm in Los Angeles because tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on ESPN, I'm in town because I am doing an NBA Finals special. It will be myself, my brother Michael Wilbon, my man Doc Rivers, head coach for the Los Angeles Clippers, former championship coach with the Boston Celtics, and of course, Earvin Magic Johnson. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do. That's why I'm here in Los Angeles. And then I wake up this morning, minding my own damn business, getting set to do my job and talk about these NBA Finals. Kawhi and Steph and Clay and Draymond. I mean, even Fred VanVleet, for crying out loud. I'm talking about everybody. That was the plan. And I'm still going to execute that plan. But obviously, I'd have to take a moment because ESPN.com decides to come out with a story on the day that Magic and the crew are going to be here. Story comes out. Baxter Holmes, reporter, senior writer on the NBA for ESPN, by the way, does an outstanding job. And did an outstanding job with this story. There's nothing missing here. But he wrote this big expose. He's been working on it for 2 years. And there's a lot to deduce from it because we don't want to take away from his work. He did his job. Do I like the fact that I have to deal with it today? Hell no. Quite annoyed by it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But nevertheless, the story's out. Go check it out on ESPN.com. Obviously, it's very, very important. I mean, it's cover of ESPN.com. It's a big deal, right? Go ahead and look at it. ESPN.com. Let's make sure we mention that. It's right there. Let's make sure we mention that. ESPN.com. Go read the story. Here's an excerpt from it, from Baxter Holmes, talking about two of the biggest factors that have affected the Lakers culture since Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka took over in 2017. Listen to this.
First, Rob, as Magic Johnson spoke about on this show last week, entered into the position with credibility issues. And according to people I've spoken to the organization, that only became more amplified during his time there. In terms of Earvin, who has said on record before that he can have a kind of demonstrative personality, people in the organization saw that on the occasions when he was in the office, they would describe kind of a duality to his personality. There was Earvin, and then there was Magic. And I think these two things, culminating or played a key role in the dynamics of what the culture would become over the next 2 years within the Lakers.
That wasn't all that Baxter Holmes had to say when he appeared on First Take this morning. He also spoke about the biggest reason Magic Johnson isn't president of the Los Angeles Lakers anymore. Listen to this.
I think the commitment to the job, given his outside business interests, was too great for him to accept, especially for a team in rebuilding and the kind of task that it was going to take for him. I think given all the struggles, all the dysfunction, all the bad headlines over the course of the year, that it wasn't fun for him. You have the tampering fines and investigations that ensued, often sparked by some of his comments. So I think it's multifactorial in a lot of ways, for sure.
Obviously, in terms of the biggest issues involving employees of the Los Angeles Lakers, two issues had come forward. Magic Johnson's personality and Rob Pelinka's alleged penchant for not telling the truth. According to Baxter Holmes, this was a problem. Listen to this.
Different people in the organization would describe in very harsh terms one or the other. But they were, in terms of how severe the impact was, they would both say that they, made a huge impact. But I will say this: in terms of leading a team forward, team building, the flow of information is incredibly important. It's incredibly important to personnel hirings, to draft, free agency, trades. And when you have someone at the top, and this is something that many people in the organization, as well as many people around the league, told me, but when you have somebody at the top who has considerable credibility issues, it creates numerous problems throughout the franchise, especially when you're in the position that the Lakers are in, where they're trying to get back to contending status. And so every move that they make from there on forward is incredibly important. So having severe credibility issues for someone at the top, as Rob has, it can create a whole lot of issues for basically numerous areas throughout the organization.
Baxter Holmes worked very hard on this story. There's obviously no holes in the story. But it is important to point out that what he reported in this 2-year expose are things that I've touched on, Ramona Shelburne has touched on, Dave McMenamin has touched on, Brian Windhorst has touched on, Adrian Wojnarowski has touched on. The list goes on and on. It's something that we've been talking about ad nauseum. It's something that all of us are fully aware of. The split personality on the part of Magic Johnson, that is something new. There is no doubt about that. But here's the thing that really, really rakes my nerves. Everybody is acting like this is so shocking. It's a surprise. Or I shouldn't say everybody, but some people are acting that way. Let me tell you something. It's not a surprise. And let me tell you something right now. Magic Johnson will address this on the show tonight. I just got off the phone with him. He'll do it. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't canceling. He's showing up. He'll be here. But let me also say this to you. If Magic Johnson had an attitude, and Magic Johnson made life unpleasant, dare I say, for folks that he felt weren't getting the job done, I'm sorry, how's that different than any place else in corporate America? You got a job to do, do it. You don't do it, I'm going to get somebody else who'd want to. According to Baxter Holmes' column, there was an anecdote there where Magic Johnson pointed to his office upstairs and it was filled with piles of folders and paperwork, candidates that were interested in working. According to Baxter Holmes' column, Magic said thousands of people want to work for the Lakers organization. If y'all don't get the job done, somebody else will. And supposedly, guess what? That was very, very unpleasant. Supposedly, people had anxiety. I mean, stop the presses. Stop the presses. I mean, Magic Johnson was tyrannical as a boss. That's basically what picture they're trying to paint. Magic Johnson, what that smile that y'all see on television, all over them, permeating the airways. Oh my God, stop the presses. Magic Johnson might have been a bit hardcore as a businessman. Stop the presses. Oh my God, who's going to catch a heart attack next? What world are you living in? Does anybody remember what Magic Johnson inherited? This is a 5-time champion that had been in 9 NBA finals, that won a championship in his rookie year as an NBA player, whose entire basketball career has been synonymous with success and Hall of Fame credentials, who helped resurrect the Laker brand and spearheaded into the new millennium while introducing Showtime in the process. Jerry West was great. Wilt Chamberlain was great. Elgin Baylor was great. They were never Showtime. Not Showtime. They weren't Magic and Worthy and Norm Nixon, and then after that, Byron Scott, Michael Thompson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes, Kurt Rambis, Michael Cooper. They weren't those people. And the captain of that ship was Irving Magic Johnson. That guy became president of basketball operations in 2017. 4 years, 4 consecutive years after the Los Angeles Lakers missed the playoffs. 4 consecutive years after they were straight garbage. 4 consecutive years after the great Dr. Buss had passed away, and Jim Buss was presiding over the franchise, and Jeannie Buss was over all the board of governors and all of that other stuff, and they were going nowhere. And it's actually news to y'all that this man came in there and had an attitude? Really? Really? He had an attitude. He wasn't pleasant to work for. That smile wasn't always there. He was demanding, and he wouldn't tolerate mistakes. Oh, my God. Let's get the axe. Let's take Magic Johnson to the guillotine. Let's do so. Oh, my God. That's an issue. You're losing. You're inept. You're unproductive. You're not living up to the Laker brand that he helped reinvigorate and reinstall. And he's supposed to be nice to you? What kind of damn world are y'all living in? I just don't know what to say. I'm just looking at the world as we live it right now. I'm like, really? I'm trying to figure out which one of my bosses wasn't like Magic Johnson was described. I can make a legitimate argument. All of them have been. From the New York Daily News to the Philadelphia Inquirer to CNNSI to Fox Sports to ESPN, back to Fox Sports, then back to ESPN. Interns in Winston-Salem and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and the Greensboro News and Record. I'm trying to figure, damn it, I'm talking. Look, I got fired when I was 14. And my job was a summer job where I lied about my age to get the damn job, and I was picking up trash in the park. And that boss found an excuse to fire me. Hell y'all talking about? Are you kidding me? I mean, stop the presses. Magic Johnson, he wasn't smiling all the time. He was mean. He wasn't pleasant. I mean, you got some article, some point in the stories where they actually talk about the anxiety. I had to quit. I couldn't take it. That's why you gone. Because you couldn't take it. You got people out here. They're going to sit up here, you know what they're going to say to you? Oh, you know what, that Magic Johnson, I don't understand what's wrong with him. I mean, what is this world coming to? I mean, can't bosses be nicer? Really? Really? Show me a boss who's nice when you're losing, and I'll show you a former boss. When you ain't getting the job done, there ain't time to be nice. There ain't the time to hug one another, sing kumbaya or Christmas carols. What the hell is going on here? In other words, so what? That's the story. There were 2 Magic Johnsons. So let me get this straight. Magic Johnson's supposed to be George Foreman? Let's smile at this. Really? That's what he's supposed to do? I didn't see George Foreman smiling when he was knocking people out in the ring. There were 2 different sides of George Foreman. I saw Mike Tyson put people to sleep in the ring. And then outside of the ring, people shouldn't really be like that. 2 different Mike Tysons. I see Charles Barkley on television all the time, telling it like it is. I saw him running over people on the court. I mean, it doesn't get more soft-spoken than Isaiah Thomas. Well, basically we just need to understand that this is how it goes on the basketball court. But when he was on the court, he's from the west side of Chicago. He's a killer. There's always a different side to people's personalities, particularly when you're competing. And when you're competing, it's about whatever it takes. It ain't about being nice. It's about getting the job done. I promise you, people who were producing probably didn't have a problem with Magic Johnson. Now, if you were saying about Magic Johnson what you said about Rob Pelinka, that's a different matter entirely. Because once again, fair or unfair, once again, this is not Stephen A. reporting it. This is somebody else reporting it. Rob Pelinka's reputation isn't the greatest. Rob Pelinka's reputation is that of somebody who's allergic to telling the truth. In fairness and in defense of Rob Pelinka, I personally have never had that experience with him. I personally believe it when he says there has to be some degree of jealousy and envy to it because he was a pretty damn good agent. But what cannot be ignored and what cannot be avoided is the fact that everywhere you go, everyone's saying the same thing about Rob Pelinka. He's not an honest person. That's what they're saying. People within the NBA, people within the NBA agent community, people within the NBA executive community. They're all saying these things. Not everybody, but a lot of people are saying these things about Rob Pelinka. And that's really, really difficult. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, why would you have that executive in that position? I'm not saying Rob Pelinka should be fired. I'm saying to ascend him to basically where he's making basketball decisions as president of basketball operations. If you're Jeannie Buss, how can you not see that that might be problematic? This is not a situation that exists in New York. You have to remember, in New York, people say certain things about James Dolan. But James Dolan is the billionaire owner of the New York Knicks. Unless he's going to fire himself, there's nothing you can do. This is not people saying that about Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss is known as a wonderful woman. Very, very bright. She's just got a heart of gold. And the people she loves are the people she loves and the people that she trusts. And those are the people that she listens to. So what she gets accused of is negligence from the perspective of not making sound, astute basketball decisions because you're listening to the wrong people because it's based on your love and trust for them as opposed to their competence in that particular realm. She's not being called a liar. She's not being called dishonest. She's not being accused of being somebody that it would be difficult to do business with because her moral compass, dare I say, is compromised. Those allegations and accusations have been levied against Rob Pelinka. They have not been leveled against Steve Mills and Scott Perry in New York. If that's what they were saying about those guys in New York, James Dolan might get rid of them. So if you're Jeannie Buss, after Magic has walked out the door and publicly stated, last Monday came on First Take, publicly stated his position. If Magic Johnson publicly state where he's coming from, Jeannie Buss, what you going to do about it? I want to emphasize again, I'm not in any way advocating that Rob Pelinka be fired. That's not my place. Because I don't think he's done anything definitively where we could say he deserves to be fired. What we can say is that based on that reputation Is it wise to elevate him to president of basketball operations or have him to be the de facto president of basketball operations? Is that fair? Is that right? Is that the competent thing for the Lakers franchise to do? That's what we have to ask ourselves here as we're looking at the Los Angeles Lakers and we're looking at him. But this stuff about Magic, I want to emphasize. I've known Magic for years. It's my man. Love him like a brother. We're pretty damn tight. Magic and I disagree on several things. Shouldn't have let go of Brook Lopez. Shouldn't have lost Julius Randle. Shouldn't have traded Zubac. Should not have drafted Lonzo Ball. Don't get me started on how we fought over Lonzo Ball. We didn't talk for months after that. But this other stuff that's being said, last week it was that he ain't work hard enough. Will Kane brought up on my radio show, on my television show Today First Take every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific. Will Kane said, you even asked him, Stephen A., well, you going to be 150% in? He said, I'm going to be in 150%. But that clearly wasn't the case. I brought up the argument, you signed a deal. You reached an agreement. Your duties were clear to GD Buss because GD Buss made you keep the people in place. You inherited Rob Pelinka. You inherited Luke Walton. You inherited these people. You wasn't allowed to hire your own staff. So if you already got people in place that's working for you and you just want me to be an overseer and make decisions, what do you need me to do? Be present when I'm getting a pedicure or a manicure? What the hell is going on? So transition to a week later, and now it's that there's two sides to Magic Johnson. There was the one with the magnetic smile, and then there was the evil guy that was causing us such anxiety that we just couldn't work for him anymore. Really? Really? This season marked the 6th consecutive year the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. When Magic had arrived, they had already missed it 4 straight years. And oh, by the way, from 1948 to 2013, the Lakers franchise from Minneapolis to LA had missed the playoffs a grand total of 5 times. 5 times in 65 years they missed the postseason until 2013. Now they've missed it 6 straight years. And we're wondering why Magic Johnson may have had an attitude. Y'all done lost y'all ever-loving damn minds. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. That was Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less. Only at Walmart. To your phone calls and more, we shall go when I return. Because obviously I got a lot more to say. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, gentlemen, stop lounging around. Be active. Take your girl out. Go to a game or a concert. Get tickets to something. The NBA Finals are upon us, and baseball season is heating up too. The time is now to jump on those good